Yeah, welcome back again. Zagatech FX. All right. Today, we'll talk about trend line gap. I repeat, trend line gap (TLG). So, when you talk about trend line gaps, is the gap that the market makes when trending upward or when trending downwards, guys. All right. With no further ado, let me take it quite slowly. Last lecture, we talked about, I told you about how to draw a bearish trend line. We covered swing high, swing low, and so many other ones. Then we got to a point of, bullish trend line and a bearish trend line. So in my bearish trend line video, I think I mentioned, trend line gap. I will do that in the next video, which is this one I'm doing right now. All right. The trend line gap is a gap that markets progressively make when a market is bullish or bearish form, right? Now, now, you want to see that the market gaps away from each prices, like I said earlier before. So the first one you need to know. All right, guys. To see about these trend line gaps, there's something I have explained before that about the space in the market. Now let us identify this in this chart so I can be able to explain clearly for you to see what I'm trying to talk about, a gap a gap in the trend line. Now, if you're looking for a gap in the trend line to enter a position, take a look at this, guys. Let's say I'm going bullish, right? Let's say I'm going bullish, right? Now, I'll draw a trend line from here, from this line, right, to this line here, and extrapolate it. You see that? Now, take a look. This is a small gap, and this is also a small gap, and this is a very big gap, right? This is a big gap in the market. Now, you wouldn't want to enter a trade when you have it something like this, guys. You wouldn't want to enter it when you have something like this. Now, you need to enter. You need to go short. This is a bearish bearish. We are looking for a bearish movement. Now, if you want to enter, this is the opposite of what I'm trying to show you. Let me show you the present of what. Let's take a look at this one and this one. All right, I connected this and this, right? Now, this is a smaller gap and this is a very big gap, right? Now, this market has stretched out to a very big form and come back to a trend line, pull, bounce off again, and have a very small space here and a big space here. So we have at least 70 or 80% chance to enter this trade because we have market tend to cover up what a very big space along this area. You understand? So this gap in the market, when you're drawing your trend line, you need to do what? Look out for such gap in the market. So you wouldn't want to enter, I repeat, you wouldn't want to enter a trade where you have such something like this, a very big gap, because market tends to do what? Continue the movement. And most of the times we call this what? A fake out or retest and continuation of the movement. So when you see a market that has this kind of gap here, small gap here, small gap, big gap, don't is 30 or 20% chance the market is going to drop, and it dropped a little and what pulled and continue the what the uptrend. Now take a look at this again. If you want to draw a trend line, take a look at this. Let's take a look at this. If you want to draw, catch up with this. All right, take a look at this. You see this small space and you see this big space here, guys. You see a small space here. See this small space. I connected this to this. So I want to show you guys this. I connected this to this and this. You see this small space, see this big space here. Now what happened? Market did not come down. It came down for the test and did what? And continued the upward movement because of this small space. Assuming you have a smaller space like this over here, or the way we have a small space over here, we have the tendency at least for going short, at least guys, at least 50 to 60 pips, or 40 pips. See? So, and even continuation of downward trend. Do you see that? This is how you can identify a gap, what I call trend line gap in the market. So when drawing your trend line, you need to watch out for this gap. You don't just draw a trend line and say it has broken, let me enter a trade. No, identify something in that trend line before you push in for a trade. All right. So this is what we call trend line gap. All right, let us move into the chart and see a lot of these, guys. Let us move into and see a lot of it. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Okay, let's take a look at this, guys. You see? All right. This is a trend line from here to here. But before we draw from here to here, we need to take from here to what? To here. You know, also from here to here, we also need drew from here. Is it a trend line? Yes, it's kind of a trend line. Cool. Yeah. So identify a space in the market, a big space, a smaller space, drop down continuation before it drops. You see, the smaller space came in before it market drops. You can also identify this as a trend line. See another smaller trend line inside the market. So see this move, see this move here. You see a smaller space, market broke this area and dropped drastically to this zone. So you can be able to identify trend line opportunities in the market and and take advantage of it. Right? So this is how we can draw a bearish trend line and having a gap in it. That is what we call trend line gap. Right? Okay. Now let all right now to take a look. Let me clear this chart. Let me clear this so you can be able to identify. I've shown you guys the bearish trend line gap. Let's look for bullish trend line gap. All right, let's take it from here and let's take it from here to this one here, guys. Let's take it from here to this one. You see a very big gap, you see a smaller gap, so we have a tendency of going high, going long. You see a big gap comes with a smaller gap. So when you're drawing your trend line, even if it's bearish or bullish, look out for a big gap and a smaller gap. You have some percentage of you have high probability of for that trend to continue towards that opposite direction, right? Now what you have, okay, let's take a look at this again. Let me leave this. Let's take a look at this big trend line. Let's take a look at this and take it downwards, right? Now take a look. We have this. So all these things are big gap. What happens? Market just took it out and continued with this downward trend because this did not do play out well. So what I mean, you look out for a big and a smaller. Now let us adjust this trend line for you to see what I'm trying to talk about. Now let's adjust this from here and let's adjust this from this trend line here, guys. So we have a big gap, we have a smaller gap. You can close this, we can pick a trade and do and close up at least 20, close up at least, we have 20 pips or so. We don't stay long in the market. Now let's take a look at another bullish trend line. Let's take a look at this. Okay, let's have this and this. So this doesn't play well. A smaller gap and a big gap, and the markets pull up, 20 some few pips and do with it downward trend. Did you see that, guys? And continue downward. So this one didn't play out well. We have at least 30 to 40% probability of the market to continue. So let's take a look. Let's adjust this trend line again. These two here, and let's connect this and this. You see, a big gap and a big gap. Market, didn't play out well. It broke the uptrend, and you enter a trade. If you enter a trade, you can be able to understand another thing in this trend line. What I'm saying is not maybe what you may not see, or what you are saying may not be what I will see. So you can decide to pick up some small pips from here and get out of the market and look for another opportunity, because every single day we have plenty of opportunities in the market in different currency pairs, right? All right, this is a typical example of how you can draw your trend line gap. Trend line gap. I've talked about how to draw a bullish trend line, bearish trend line. This one is trend line gap, what you need to see. So the strategy here is when you draw a trend line, look out for a big gap, then a smaller one follows it. You can now go short. A big gap, a smaller one follows it. You can now go long. All right. All right. So that is that about that. So this one didn't play well. Draw a trend line, touch it up, a smaller, a bigger one. It didn't play out well. It continued the upward trend. So from here, I connected to this one too. So it didn't play out well. See, it didn't play out well. A bullish, a bearish trend line. It didn't play out well. All right, let's look for another bearish one. Do we have any other bearish trend line? Okay, if you pick from here to here, this will never play out well. See, a very big space. It didn't play out well. Now let's take a look at this and see if this one plays well. Sorry about that. let me take a look at this and this, all right, see, this and this one played, this one and this one too, this, let me clear this. So this, a big gap, a smaller one, it played out well and it continued uptrend. You can also use that as a reverse market structure, right? When you have a break in market structure, a breaker block, other block, and the other things that this is someone's strategy and it's working well, and many people are using it as it trading. So, all right, this is it about trend line gap in financial market forex trading. All right, you can also use that in what, in currency trading. If you are using Binance, if you're trading Binance, if you're using Bybit and all the other crypto trading platform, this strategy also works literally. It literally works there, right? All right, so thank you and God bless you. This is Zagatech FX. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Like the video, share to your friends. Let's come together and make more money. All right. Now, you can join my Telegram channel, right? And enjoy the signal that comes into the Telegram as a screenshot. For example, if the market, the signal that comes in the market is bullish, it screenshot the whole chart instantly within 2 seconds, within 1 second. You get the chart in Telegram. You can zoom out the chart and see the structure of the market, even if it's daily time frame or 1 hour time frame. And you can zoom it out if you have your tab or mini palm top or mini hand palm mini laptop. You can check it out and decide to push in for a bullish or decide to push in for a bearish trend. Thank you guys and God bless you. This is Zagatech FX signing off. Bye for now.